Are we still talking about the Nico Williams to Barcelona rumors? Apparently we are, and yet no one has still answered the one fundamental question I've been asking, which is, where is Barcelona getting this money from? We're going to try and figure it out next here on Pints and Punditry at the Pitchside Pub. I've been banging this drum for a long time. Every time Barcelona has been connected to a high-price transfer over the past few years, I bring up the same talking point, which is, you have no money. Where are you getting this money from? And yet they still seem to get some moves done, and yet they really haven't gotten as much done as they have been connected to. Not even close to converting nearly as many as they are rumored to, because they've been very public about wanting so many different players, and yet they have no money. So that brings us back to Nico Williams. We thought this was done, and yet this connection between the young Spanish winger and Barcelona is apparently still going on. So we're going to try and figure out what the heck is happening and how they could possibly afford this. Spoiler alert, they can't, but we're going to figure it out anyway. But before we do that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me down below so you can follow the channel. Get down in the comment section. What do you think? Obviously, we love Nico Williams in general as a player, but how are they going to get this done? Is there something I'm missing? Get down in that comment section. Let me know what you think. You can also leave some comments on Twitter at Pitchside Pub, and check out the website pitchsidepub.com where you can sign up for our free newsletter. So this is one of the earliest rumors of the summer. Nico Williams, as soon as the Euros were done, he was connected heavily to Barcelona because he had such a great Euro tournament. He was one of the best players of the tournament, and he really led that Spain team. And of course, as a dynamic young Spanish player, one of the Spanish giants is going to want him. Real Madrid doesn't have any room for him. And so Barcelona naturally is heavily connected to him. And I get all of that. He'd be a great player for them to go get. And he has a 60 million euro release clause with Athletic Club. And they don't have that money. It's that simple. They don't have that money. And there's a couple of nuances that go into this that make it more complicated. Now, this was the first rumor of the summer, and then when it looked like it had died off and wasn't going to happen, Barcelona went out and got Dani Olmo from RB Leipzig. And he ended up costing them something similar, but there's a big difference. It wasn't a release clause, and RB Leipzig is happy to take payments in installments. And that's a huge deal to Barcelona because they don't have the money up front. They barely have enough money to register players. And if you look at their transfers over the past few years, they've been one of the lowest spending teams on the transfer market in La Liga because they don't have it. They don't have it, and most of their big additions have been free transfers, guys on loan, João Felix, João Cancelo. They just simply don't have the money. And so they only got this deal done with Leipzig because Leipzig was willing to let them defer payments and break it out over installments over a few years. And frankly, even that is questionable by Leipzig's standards because we have pretty substantiated reports of Barcelona still owing other clubs money and being late on payments for players they've had for a few years. But I guess they feel like they have enough legal options should it come to that they can get their money eventually. And Dani Olmo's value was never going to be higher than it was coming off a strong Euro tournament as well, and so they took the risk and said, okay, Barcelona, we trust you that you'll get us the money at some point. Now Barcelona has been scrambling to try and find that money, and they are once again trying to push out players that they think they can get some money for. Vitor Roque has been absolutely destroyed by Barcelona, and they're trying to get rid of him in any way, shape, or form. We're circling back to the Frankie de Jong, please go somewhere else stories that have been going on every summer for the past 2 years, and he's made it very clear that he does not want to leave Barcelona, particularly for Manchester, either of the Manchester clubs. He doesn't want to live there, and his wife likes Barcelona, he wants to stay, and all this stuff that we've talked about ad nauseum. But they're back to that. They're trying to push him out again because he's on a huge wage and he's still valuable and they could get some money for him. They're trying to sell Gundogan to Saudi Arabia and basically anybody else that'll listen. Rafinha, they've been trying to pass him off all summer. So they're desperately looking for money to pay for a player that they've already acquired in Dani Olmo. So they have him. They already don't know how they're paying for him. And now they want Nico Williams. But the problem with Nico Williams is that money has to be paid up front. 60 million euros up front all at once or it doesn't happen. So you got to be careful when you see these rumors because the reports that are coming out now are not Barcelona and Athletic Club are close, or that they've agreed. No, it's the player now wants to. And earlier in the summer, the reports were that Nico Williams didn't really want to leave his boyhood club. And that was understandable, and that sort of torpedoed some of the rumors as well, because even if everybody could come to terms, the player has to agree. Well, now the reports are that Nico Williams would be down for the transfer, right? He has agreed to the transfer. He's in, he's considering it, or he's willing to accept it. And they may have even come to terms on their own, but we have no indication that Barcelona has come to any terms with his current club. And earlier in the summer, there were reports that even if they could pony up the 60 million euros, there might be another club like PSG that would be willing to outbid them. Now, I don't think Nico Williams wants to go to France. He's more likely to go to a Spanish club from what most reports are saying, so that makes sense. And that probably saves Barcelona some money because it takes PSG out of the equation. PSG has also gone off and spent a lot of money in the meantime. So it's probably down to just Barcelona or stay put. But it doesn't conjure up 60 million euros. And I talked about this in a short video a few weeks ago, and I haven't gotten any answers as to where Barcelona is getting this money. And Joan Laporta has come out and said, oh, we've got it. Well, he's a liar. He's an absolute flat-out lying human being. He does this in the media all the time. He never tells the truth. He talked a few weeks ago about how he was confident they were going to get back to 1-to-1, which means that for every dollar they make, they can spend. Right now, they're at, I believe, 4-to-1, and that's a punishment for their financial mismanagement from previous regimes, and he has taken over, and Laporta inherited a mess, but he has also turned it into a mess himself. He has mismanaged it as well by spending and spending and spending, just like this, just like Dani Olmo. And so they are not officially back to 1-to-1. That announcement has not been made by La Liga. The announcement, I use that term very loosely and in air quotes here, was from a few weeks ago. There was an announcement that Barcelona was confident they were going to return to 1-to-1. Well, that's just Joan Laporta lying to the media again. He does this all the time. They said this last summer too. It didn't happen, right? So there's been no official announcement from La Liga that I've seen. If I've missed it, get down in that comment section and let me know. I have not seen that. I've not seen any official reports. I've seen Joan Laporta saying that he believes that they will get that approval again. Even if they do, where's the 60 million euros coming from? Who are they selling to get that? And mind you, they got to pay for Dani Olmo still. They don't have that cash. Now, there was a recent report, that they have this deal with Aramark, who is an American catering company, who's going to help give them a cash infusion in exchange for, I don't know, selling products at the stadium and some sort of deal like that. And that probably did give them an influx of short-term cash, right away. And so maybe that's how they're paying for part of Olmo, or maybe that's where they're going and getting Nico Williams. I don't think that was a $60 million deal from the reports I saw. But let me tell you this. If your caterer has to bail you out financially, you shouldn't be buying $60 million players or 60 million euro players. That is not good business. This is how Joan Laporta got put in charge in the first place, was this financial mismanagement. And if every time you want to go make one big move, which, by the way, they are the epitome of the kind of club that should not be going out and spending $60 million in one spot, but they should be spreading that $60 million over 3 or 4 spots so they have some depth and acquire some youngsters and build a core and give them appropriate wages and be ready for injuries. But no, instead they continue to go glory hunting, and they're going to get Dani Olmo for $60 million, and they think they're going to get Nico Williams for $60 million, and it's going to be 120 million euros for 2 guys. 2 guys. And you had to get bailed out by your caterer to even somehow finagle this accounting to be able to pay for it. And defer payments and do all this sort of, kick the can down the road kind of stuff that Barcelona has been doing for years, and is the reason they lost Lionel Messi, and the reason they got put on these financial restrictions, and the reason that the previous regime got booted out and Joan Laporta is there in the first place. Why does nobody at Barcelona ever learn? Why do they just believe that they can just say what they want, everybody's going to believe them? Well, the problem is it's true. That part's true. They say whatever they want, everybody believes them. And every one of these reports comes out and, Barcelona's confident they're going to be able to get Nico Williams. Confident based on what? That confidence has no validity. That's just a guy saying, I think I can do this. Well, why are we still believing Joan Laporta at this point? So I'm ranting, but I don't see where Barcelona is getting 60 million euros up front for Nico Williams. And if they do manage to get this deal done, I'll be the first one to say I was wrong. I don't think this one's going to happen, and I could end up looking really stupid here, but I'm okay with it. But I will have follow-up questions of where this money came from. Is this error mark money? Is this because they don't have any more financial levers to pull? They can't sell any more of their future revenue. They can't kick the can any further down the road. So where is this money coming from? And is this just a bet that they will be able to sell players down the road? They will be able to bully more of their players into leaving? Because if it is, that's a dangerous game. And I'm not sure La Liga is going to let them register some of these guys. So I've been saying for years now, if you go back and watch some of my videos, Barcelona is a house of cards. They are propping themselves up with false accounting and bad deals, and it's going to come tumbling down. They continue to get away with making moves. I don't really understand how. I would love to understand it better, but I have researched this ad nauseum, and I can't find a legitimate answer other than La Liga seems to want to make sure one of its big clubs continues to be one of its big clubs. And that doesn't seem fair to everybody else. So I'll be really interested to see how this Nico Williams situation pans out. They got to pay a big sum. They got to pay it up front. And they simply don't have it. Those are the facts as far as I can see. Unless Aramark gave them more money than I am aware of, I don't see where this money's coming from. But once again, some shady accounting seems to always get it done for Barcelona. I'd love to get your thoughts on this. This is a complex topic, but get down in that comment section. Let me know what you think. You can leave some comments on Twitter at PitchsidePub. While you're at it, hit that subscribe button for me down below so you can follow the channel. And check out the website, pitchsidepub.com. Thanks as always for joining us here on Pints and Punditry at the Pitchside Pub.